Hey, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me okay. There we go. Okay. Welcome to the TikvahMinds show. Have a few updates for you guys, which is really kind of cool. And getting situated and everything. So, couple things. One, we wanted to talk a little bit about where we are with the last colony, kind of give you a little bit of update with that. Also, there was a few articles bounding into comics that really caught my eye and really just wanted to share with you guys. Some thoughts I had. I think they're important, and we're sharing and worth discussing about. Look, we go about our lives as best as we possibly can. We're full of mistakes every single day, and the goal is certainly to do our best, and whatever happens, that we ride through it with dignity and encourage in uniting others as best as we possibly can. And like I said, mistakes happen, but in any case, there's a few articles I wanted to touch on. See if there's anything. Also, this coming Thursday, I wanted to talk a little bit. I've been receiving a few questions in regards to emails and going about campaigning and how do you go about delivering a successful campaign. So I wanted to talk about that this Thursday. Need a little bit of preparation time. The other cool thing happening right now is that with TikvahMinds is that we are, I'm setting up hopefully this week, if not next week, I'll be actually doing actual videos, and we'll be taping those videos and doing all that sort of stuff on anything from illustration, how to go about doing illustration stuff, to, doing more that there's two things I absolutely love doing. I love doing the illustrations, the comics, and all that sort of stuff, but I absolutely love teaching. It's a fantastic, it's absolutely amazing to see others awaken their possibilities and intuitions and develop and create inventions that we couldn't possibly predict, which is absolutely what illustrations art is all about. So I will be, hopefully the plan is I'll have all those pieces in place this week. Next week, we'll actually start filming and then start moving towards this idea of TikvahMinds. And because I'm currently right now, I'm posting this show, which I think we'll continue to do on the ElijahLoving.com. Which is kind of that blend of the two environments, which is what really I want this platform, this, be it why we're doing live stream. It's not just, and hopefully I've expressed this several times, that it's not just the here's my cool art, partake in it. I want it to be something that others can join in, develop their own projects, and share that as well. And that's kind of the big picture. But the other part of that with the TikvahMinds is to be able to share not just my expertise, but bring in like an adjunct professor sort of a thing. A few random artists that we have a video up of their stuff for a limited time sort of a thing. They teach their whatever subject they're teaching on, be it color theory, be it children's illustrations, all these types of things, and how you go about doing that. And that's kind of the big picture of ultimately where we want this to lead. So that's something that's really cool and also in the works. So hopefully that the plan is anyway that this coming week is basically what that rolls out to be. The other pieces are, I'll save the last colony stuff for here at the very end. So let's just kind of dive into this thing. Let me bring up share my screen with you guys. So have the right window. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So that easier to read. Okay. Yeah, let's start at the top. Okay. So one of the things, and I like Comic-Cons. Comic-Cons are an absolute blast. They're a lot of fun. You meet all sorts of wild and crazy and new people and I mean crazy in a very genuine, good way. this guy, he's one of them. As far as the nerds out there and all those types of things, and just seeing all shapes and sizes and expressions, and it's just especially the cosplay, the type of cosplay people that it's amazing, just the type of costumes and things they come up with, and it's all just truly grassroots, sort of a way of saying it, of it's it's I guess it's Halloween before Halloween. I don't know. It's really, if you haven't been to a Comic-Con, I'd certainly encourage that. And as Comic-Cons are kind of back in full swing, and there's that move to make those happen. I've shied away. There was a particular Comic-Con in Kansas City's Comic-Con, and Planet Comic-Con, and I had opportunity to go to that and to have a booth and all that sort of stuff. And it was kind of in between all this sort of time frame, as far as like with the comic book, getting that produced, the crowdfund, all those types of things. And it wasn't the right time, because of various other reasons and family reasons, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't end up going. And one of the things that, and I know this is going to step on some toes out there, but that's all right. It's fine, because we all need to know. I think it's important to express with dignity where we stand on things. So one of the things is that with this particular, if we read through this, I don't know if I want to completely read through it, but because he does get, as the article says, cursing out a fellow fan, or having I understand there are times when we are stressed. I understand there are times when we lose our cool, and I'm no exception to the rule. But I think the key is that when those moments do happen, we do our best to repair those mistakes as best as possible. Because the thing of it is that those around us, we all have a varying different opinions of where we come from, our experiences, what we're currently going through. And a lot of times we don't have a view into what that actually looks like. And in that moment in time, what that person is actually going through in their home life or in other places in their life. We just don't know. It's impossible to know and understand. And it's so important that, again, when, like I said, we've all been there of just, we've lost our brains and we've gone down crazy land. And in those moments of heat, so to speak, you lose your ability to focus in on what's the actual point to which you really want to capture here. And that's certainly where, because again, throwing an expletive or those sort of things out there, it's exciting, and you can puff up your chest. But in any case, I don't know if you can exactly read this, but Let me bring it up a little bit bigger so I can read it, certainly. On my screen. Okay. So he's, I guess, this creator, comic book creator, and this is in Washington, D.C., and they have a mask mandate in the show. And this is one of the things that Kansas City's Planet Comic-Con is I didn't know, and I made the assumption that it was going to have some sort of mask mandates and those sort of things. But that, I don't know. I guess if anything, you sort of put a percentage to it. That was like 25% of the decision, where the other 75% of the other things were going on. And in particular, I wanted to make sure the last colony was getting done. And maybe next year, when hopefully things cool off and all those types of things, that we'll be able to have that there and have several comic books. Any case. And I only like to do maybe about 1 to 2 a year, 3 year, maybe. It's not, I get that you meet a lot of people and those type of things. There's a lot of benefits to the Comic-Con. That's not my point to this. But this particular individual, I guess a comic book creator, I don't know what he's necessarily created. I guess he's a comic book of Tom King. I guess he's made the Rorschach. All right. Former Batman and Rorschach writer time, Tom King. Okay. So he sees, I guess there's a mask mandate in Washington, D.C., and the person is walking up to their booth. He's not wearing a mask. So they basically tell this, hopefully I'm capturing this correctly, but read through this and you can come up with your own opinion. But essentially he goes, this Tom King, say to the people running the Comic-Con, hey, that individual's not wearing a mask type of a thing. Go take care of it. The guy ignores the show people, whatever, keeps going about his business. And I think at that point, it's sort of like, and he's in his Rorschach costume too, this cosplay guy, but he's not wearing a mask. And I think it's sort of the thing of like, I'm guessing you'd have to have a conversation with this individual. But based upon what one perspective from Tom King is that he was one of this guy that was just, I want to be left alone. I want to nerd out. Leave me alone. Let me do my thing. Let me go about my day. Tired of just the constant hounding, and it's constant from all sorts of sides of media and that sort of thing. And here's my opinion on it all. If you want to wear your mask, wear it. Fine. Knock yourself out. Be a good little boy or girl, whatever. Fine. Do your thing. But it's a medical device. There's no way around it. And certainly from the Hebraic Jewish perspective, it's sort of the thing that like this has already been rehearsed before 80 years ago. Like this is, especially from my mindset, it's just like this has already been, this experience, history rhymes, it doesn't repeat. And we're certainly seeing those rhymes of like, this is weird, because you can't force another person. So anyway, this guy feels like he can force this other person. And he tells him, he gets finally to the booth and tells him to put on his mask. So the guy puts on his Rorschach mask, which I assume is see-through based upon his description. But it's just like, that's not a mask. And it's just like, oh my gosh. It's one of these things where like, if you really want to dive into the nuances, Elijah Loving, would be happy to show you the video of how these things don't work. But again, if you want to do it, fine. It's okay. Do it. No one, I'm not going to stop you by any means. But at the same time, you can't mandate on another person. This is Nuremberg. This is Helsinki, Belmont. Go on and on. Anyway, this is where this line of I think this is where the line of how when we are creating our content, and this leads into this next topic, when we're creating our content, it's all about respecting the next individual. And you want as many people, certainly I do, as many people to jump in and join this, helping other comic book creators make stuff. But as nerds, it's sort of a thing of, if I go up to another nerd and I say, your costume sucks, take that off and make it right. That's what he's saying. That's exactly what he's saying. Take it off, fix it, make it right. Well, maybe that's all that person had. Maybe he didn't have the right trench coat, and he had a makeshift one that only goes up to his. Maybe it's just a suit coat, and that's all he has, trying to implement the Rorschach. Hey, good job. You did great. And I can see why the dude was fumbling. I can see why the dude was nervous. That's what when you go to these events, these are individuals who we don't know their home life. We don't know their home experience. They're nerds. They have an opportunity to dress up and be someone else for a moment in time from whatever existence that is, good, bad, or whatever. And we're getting lost in sort of the minutia. And if we want to get lost in the minutia, well, let's talk statistics and let's actually look at the actual evidence of what is actually happening here. But no, we can't talk about that. We need to follow the mandates. Well, again, and this is where this particular article that we're looking at here, where it's just like all these comic book creators, when you're doing this and you're doing your crowdfund and it's not your DC, you're not Marvel, you're indie, you're this, or your Dark Horse, or your blah, 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 blah. And you're if you're not one of those, well, then you're not a legitimate comic book creator. And all these things, all you're doing for those that have backed my project, apparently, according to this fellow from DC or whatever, some creator from DC, all you're doing is that I'm fleecing millions of dollars off of you. Well, in this case, $3,000, whatever my last campaign was. This is ridiculous. It's just like we've absolutely lost our minds when it's just like, okay, you want to talk facts, Mr. Jeremy. Let's talk about the fact that Diamond Distribution, and they're screwing over the comic book stores, and how when they get shipped, they're ballooning the numbers and all this sort of stuff, and they're not being honest. And oh, by the way, if we send you product and it's all wrinkled or broken or whatever it might be, well, sorry, you just have to eat that cost. Comic book store. This is ridiculous. And this is where we've truly lost our focus. And this is why, like Ethan Van Sciver or all these other dudes, and they're a little bit more spicy, certainly more spicy than me, which is fine. That's their thing. But it's just sort of it doesn't make sense to the degree that, like, your base of who brought you there, we've lost who that is. We've lost that like, I'm an amazing artist. I'm really high up here at the top. Everyone should be able to understand. And you know what? If you don't understand, screw you, forget that. It's just like, where's this coming from? How about, I'm tired of the division. Let's have a good conversation. Let's work this mess out together. I don't understand it. And I think that's where you have, like, was it yesterday? The Julian Assange, I don't know if it's like a dead man switch or what, but all this content. And then one of the things that was on that dead man switch with Julian Assange was the Indiana Jones 4 script. That was amazing. I thought that was so cool. This is why I started out with the beginning. I understand we all have our moments. We all mess up. No exception. Absolutely none. But we do our best to to earn that back. The whole idea of that return back to who we truly are as a not just as individuals, but as a group, as a collective. And I think it's absolutely amazing how it's the gratitude that I feel that all the individuals who have chipped in and make this happen is absolutely amazing. Couldn't have done it without you guys. And that grassroots effort is really what started comics in the first place. It was all grassroots. That's where you get like comics that are like, seriously, comics, but they had comics in them, the heavy metal sort of stuff, or you get this noir sort of stuff. It came out of a grassroots effort. And so in reality, if anything, this whole, Comicsgate and doing the backing of the projects on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, or some sort of backing platform, it has its base in what started comics in the first place. So this individual, he's clearly lost touch. And DC and Marvel have lost touch massively. They've lost touch with their base. And I think that's exactly what this kid at whatever, playing as Rorschach back over here, it just, we don't want to lose touch, not only with who we are, but who we're reaching out to encourage, to tell a good story. That's all it is. Anyway, I'm kind of animated about all that, but I just getting back to our roots. And that's what doing this is all about. Yeah. So that's what doing this whole project, that's what doing this is all about. 100%. That's what the last colony is about. It's about getting back to that as best as I can, as best as possible. So let me jump the news on you. Let me close out of this. So with the last colony, some cool stuff happened. The proofs for both the ash can and the main comic, they have all been the digital proofs. Let me say it this way. The digital proofs, let me correct myself. The digital proofs have all been approved. So that has happened. And I would expect, like I said, was it thinking last week, that I should have the actual physical proof in my hand this coming week. And it looks like we're currently on target with that, which is absolutely fantastic. Couldn't be more happy about that. So that's the big news. From there, it basically rolls into it goes into, once that we get that in our hands, that's approved, then we should be able to get the final proofs, which is ultimately the whole box of comics. All of those will be shipped to me. I have, you can see I'm a step further, have everything behind me set up so we can quickly roll out with all of this stuff, which is absolutely great. So we're currently on schedule, on top of everything. And, again, the gratitude that I really feel about it. I really feel the gratitude that just absolutely amazing that you guys have chipped in and participated. And thank you, Braden. I did miss your comment earlier. Sorry. But you're absolutely correct. And I think this is where, I post his comment up here. This is where, just getting back to who we are, finding ways to stop the division, live. If you want to live your life a particular way, live your life that way. Go for it. But don't railroad others as you do that. And like I said, we all make mistakes. We all goof up. But that's that redemption or redeeming sort of quality that we also need to remember too. And, maybe Tom King will figure it out and all this sort of stuff. But and back to the last colony, it was so, the digital proof is in, and that is finished. And then I think we're well on our way to have everything else right on target, which is absolutely fantastic. And like I said, everything else behind me is prepped and ready to go. Just need the comics and the poster. Once those are in, and we're good to go. That's it. And then it's off to you guys, which is absolutely exciting. Around the world, people in Russia and Dubai, and it's just awesome. Absolutely awesome. All over the great states united here and Canada, and yeah, just really, really, really cool. And I appreciate you, each and every one of you that have made this into a full reality. The and so what's next after that? So we have been working on the script for the part 2 and beyond. We're wanting to try to capture the whole group of it. I did mention earlier at the very beginning in regards to doing the videos and the education videos and those types of things. So that's currently still on target. And then with that, with the Last Colony, we're currently working on the script, and then from there we're hoping, and it's going to be a hard press, it could be all the way till spring. I didn't want that necessarily to be the case, but it very well could be. I have another project also in the works, dealing with giants, and that will keep rolling forward. At some point in time, I hope to do a crowdfund for that one too. I think that will be a lot of fun to do that. Dealing with Romans and giants, it's kind of an absurd story. It really is an absurd story. There's no doubt about it. But all of the stories that I love to deal with and work with are in around this entire idea of impossibilities, and that can be good or negative. The Last Colony is overcoming those and working through those as a group, and how do you go about doing that, and the sacrifices that are made in the process of that. While this giant one is, don't discount the impossibilities. Don't discount the inconceivables. I love that quote from the Princess Bride, where he said, "You keep using that word. I don't think you know what it means, what you think it means." Like type of thing. I'm probably butchered that line for the purists out there. But which is it. Absolutely love the Princess Bride. Classic. Absolutely classic. We were talking the other day about The Gods Must Be Crazy, another classic movie. And we were just with the kids, and they're just like, man, movies, they don't make movies like they used to. It's just like The Gods Must Be Crazy. It's just, whew. It's just, oh my gosh. It all started with watching some silly video of rolling cheese down a hill, and my kid couldn't believe this was like a tradition all the way back to, like, I don't know, how long is it rolling a cheese down some giant Scotland hill is, how old is this? Like the 12th century? I don't know. How old is this custom? The thing I did tell her is like, thank God maybe kilts have been outlawed. That's the only thing I could add to that. It just, so in any case, that's all I have for today. That's all all I have is ramblings, and and that's all I got at the end of the day. Keep doing your stuff, guys. I keep making your stuff, keep working on, even if you have another job or whatever else you are doing, keep making stuff. If that making stuff is cosplay, is that making stuff is, doing comics, or just your individual illustrations, or whatever they might be, keep doing them. Please don't ever stop on someone else's account or someone else's opinion, or you're not in the big leagues, or you're just fleecing money off of people, all this sort of stuff. It's for the birds. That's on a good day. on a good day. I just getting back to our roots, realizing who we are and that we do have civil liberties and we do have the right and the ability, human rights, to determine our own destiny. And hopefully that's to the stars and beyond. And to the cosmos and the ocean of stars that is out there. That's where it's at. And that's the exciting points in terms of where we ultimately want to reach to. That's the message that we want to reach to. So you guys are awesome. Preach. I appreciate each and every one of you. And you guys are so cool. I hope you have a great rest of your week. We will be on back here Thursday at 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Till then, we'll see you later.